Right.
Remember the U.S. Supreme Court and the baker? We have a
former prosecutor.
I know it well. You know this case?
Mm-hmm.
So this case is the one where the U.S. Supreme Court's now going to decide whether or not this he does not consider himself to be a baker. He's
cake
a
artist.
cake artist.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he even said, I'll stop decorating cakes altogether or something, yet they still pursued it.
This is out of Oregon somewhere, right?
I think that's where the genesis was. But this is the classic example of bad facts make bad law, because this is not the case. If I'm the ACLU who's pushing this or who did push it, and then, be careful what you wish for, because they then didn't want the U.S. Supreme Court to grant what's called cert. Is when you're at one of the circuit court levels, if you win, then your remedy.
This is Colorado?
Yeah, I think it's the Colorado.
Oh, I thought there must be another one going on in Oregon.
There was another one, the one that the Supreme Court decided. There were 3 or 4 competing ones that were trying to get taken by the Supreme Court. They chose this one.
They chose this one, which coincidentally is where Gorsuch, the latest Supreme Court justice nominated and confirmed, nominated by Trump and confirmed by the Senate, is from. And so I think that this clearly is going to be a minimum 5-4 decision and is going to be a bad precedent for the people who are trying to use this as the vehicle, if you will, for people can't discriminate. And I don't, we've talked about this. I'm always for non-discrimination, but I don't get why. I have a hard time understanding, and maybe we should get somebody on who can express this. Why does a guy who's not taking federal funds and who's gone out of business, basically, rather than do this, why can't he?
I don't know. As we previously discussed, there's barbers that just cut men's hair. There are fitness clubs that just cater to women.
Right. I don't want to go to Curbs. Do you want to go to Curbs? Which, is, by the way, is across the street from Paco's?
I have 2 answers. No and really badly. I didn't know both those ideas could live in my head.
Well, I just saw there's a word. The word of the day was for 2 competing ideas that live in your head. So there is a term for that.
Incredibly badly and not really at the same time.
Exactly. But you don't want to be caught walking into Curbs.
Right. Now, you can say, well, this is different, and everything is different. I'd like to just sort of, my case is, can you walk across the street, and if you did, would this go away?
Right.
And if the answer is yes, because you're basically saying, well, if I walk across the street, then I won't correct this. On the other hand, now think about what your role in the world is. Correct people who have beliefs?
Yeah.
I mean, look, if this guy's Muslim and his old lady's wearing the hijab or something, you go rip it off her head, or is it just a religious relief? You go ripping off yarmulkes? What do we do on people's Sabbath? I mean, I think if you have a job and your job is, I am a crossing guard, and your religion says you can't work Wednesday mornings, then you lose your gig as a crossing guard, because we need you to keep the kids safe on Wednesday morning.
The kids don't get to get run over on Wednesdays.
Right. But if everything is sort of optional and we can go to any school on any day, then you can keep your job. And meaning, if we can go across the street or go online and order a cake, and we can get a cake any other way, then you get to have your religious. And also, I don't know, not all, we have to kind of separate like what religiously is a hate crime and what isn't. I mean, if your religion says I must kill people that look different than I do, then we got a problem.
Mine is more fundamental. I think we've alluded to this before. When you get a petition for certiorari granted by the U.S. Supreme Court, there's been an awful lot of briefing and an awful lot of hours that have gone into that. I mean, expenditure of time is enormous. And if you've got amicus briefs, which I guarantee you, nobody files petitions for cert anymore without amicus briefs. That means friend of the court briefs. That means other organizations have expended countless hours. The amount of legal power that has gone into whether or not this guy's got to do a gay wedding cake. And on my list of top 100 things that I give a shit about,
Right.
this doesn't make the top 100 things. And I don't. And then the U.S. Supreme Court, which, by the way, there's probably, I don't know what the number is, but there's got to be over 1,000 petitions. Really, there's not. And they take 70 or something?
Well,
there's not 70 other things that are probably more important?
Of course. The right-thinking atheists just want to go case by case. Like, look, hey, gay couple, go across the street. Hey, Baker, go break all the Virgin Marys and Guadalupes you like and get on with your life. And by the way, gay couple, you dodged a bullet. Because that cake was going to have a snot rocket in the batter. I guarantee if you forced the hand of that guy.
When you send my father would never send a meal back. And I'd say, why? And he says, because I worked in a restaurant. I know what happens when they send the meal back. They spit on it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. You want a pube in that wedding cake? You just got one, gay couple. So I wish we could just get on with our lives and everything didn't need to be politicized.
I can think of 100 different issues I wish they would decide that actually would matter to the greater number of people than this. But
I look, to me, it opens the door for a gay bakery.
Right.
I like that.
Isn't that the best?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So then there you go. And find a niche and fill it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, it opens that back door, but it opens the door. A little gay humor there. The point is unless you could convince me of the slippery slope argument.
And I'm going to study up on this for next week because
the only
there's
argument,
got to be a good argument on this, and I just haven't thought of it.
Then this guy decides you can't
Yeah,
serve
but
black people or
but
Hispanic
that's the
people.
Parade of Horribles.
Right.
And that just
we always
isn't
talk
the same
about
thing.
that.
Yeah. I mean, Parade of Horribles is, to me, that's also like when you talk about an argument ad hominem, where you just attack the man as opposed to the person. I mean, those are never, I think, convincing or persuasive arguments.